All right. We live. I wonder how I can check. Let's see. We are live. Dun, dun, dun. All right. So we live. We good. There we go. So what is going on, everybody? Just really wanted to tap in. I'm really just kind of testing my little setup here. I got about 20 minutes before I had to jump on the live with C-Town Sports. If you don't know, C-Town Sports Agency, I work with them, director of marketing for the agency, and we are doing our first giveaway. So that giveaway, the the entries are closed, but we are hosting the giveaway um, today, or we're announcing the winners of the giveaway today, and we're hosting a live session. So we're going to be announcing them live on Instagram Live at my handle at Town Sports. At yeah, all the handles. So if you check out my Instagram, you'll see all the details on there. But I really just want to come on here and kind of test my setup, but also kind of talk about what's going on my mind. So I had and the reason why I'm testing my setup is because I got some new equipment. So I want to test it like this mic right here. Got that. So I just want to test it out, make sure everything was everything with it. So if you're live, if you're watching it live, I don't really think nobody on here. I don't really go live on YouTube, but I'm gonna be going live on YouTube more. And I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. In the 30 minutes, the 20 minutes that I got. I'm not gonna be on here for 20 minutes. But I just wanted to kind of go over just a little bit of what's going on with me, what's going on, kind of behind the scenes. If you know who I am, you know me, you know about me, you know I'm big on brand, right? Title of this video is Brand is Queen. I'm big on brand. I'm big on making sure that you are putting yourself in the best situation, that you're shining the light on yourself in the best way possible, so that it matches with your brand, because you don't want to be out here looking crazy. You don't want to be out here looking crazy. Like Anton Daniels said, you don't want to be none of these dusty dusties out here. You don't want to be a dusty dusty. And dusty dusties don't care about their brand. They don't care about their presence. They don't care about how they look to others. And it's a difference, right? A lot of people say you shouldn't care what other people think. You shouldn't care what other people say. I agree with that. I completely agree with that. However, I'm also completely aware of the fact that representation matters, right? Regardless of um how that representation is being shown, representation matters. Um and when I say representation, is how you represent yourself when you walk out the house, the way you talk to people, what you do, being out in the club every night, every weekend versus being at home grinding and working on your business, working on yourself, investing in yourself, investing in others, providing value. All of those things are representation, right? And then not only, and a lot of times people when people mention representation, they talk about they're thinking about culture or race or ethnicity or some type of representing a broad group, right? Representing a massive group. Representation isn't about that, right? And this is where, again, brand is queen. Brand is the main thing that you should focus on, the thing that is going to drive people to your business, the thing that's going to drive people to your service, thing that's going to get people to purchase your products, the thing that's going to get people to interact with you and to engage with you, and to follow you or whatever. Like when I was really getting into social media back in 2016, when I decided, okay, I want to really get into the sports marketing field. I want to brand myself in the industry, right? Look at this little guy over here. I want to brand myself within the industry, right? I want to make sure that I'm being seen in a positive manner. I want to make sure that I'm being seen in a light where I want to be the thought leader in this space, right? So I had to kind of transition my brand and transition how people saw me how I was representing not only myself, but how I was representing the industry that I'm trying to go in, right? So I had to kind of do things over, and it's crazy because, and I'm gonna read you guys what I said and why this is kind of really on my mind right now. You see the crazy dog right there. I posted this on Twitter and Instagram, and it says everything you do is your brand and it's tied to your brand. People try to separate personal brand from business, and it's impossible. What people see you do or hear you say will always be associated with whatever you're affiliated with. Hashtag chestnut checkers, right? Brand is queen. Like whatever you do, whatever you say, the people that you hang out with, um, all of that is going to be associated with whatever you're affiliated with, right? So if you're affiliated with a certain company, if you're affiliated with uh, another brand or another individual, right, another business, whatever you're affiliated with, whatever you are doing, people are gonna say, "Oh, well, you out at the club every night and you associated with this brand. Oh, well, that brand must be about clubbing. That brand must be about drinking, right? Um, or smoking, or whatever it is that you frequent, right? If you at home, you're grinding, you're in the office, you putting out work, you're becoming a content creator, and you're posting videos on YouTube, you posting stuff on social media. People are gonna say, "Oh, well, you're a influencer in this space, or you're a thought leader in this space, and you're associated with XYZ brand over here, then that brand must be about some type of substance, right?" And this goes back to, you don't have to be an entrepreneur to have a brand, right? But it helps to have a brand, to establish your brand. If you're trying to get into the entrepreneurial space, right? If you're trying to get into business, if you're trying to do something outside of what everybody else is doing, it helps to have that brand, right? To have a brand, to have something that somebody can look at and say, okay, yo, that's Asia. For instance, I went to um, it's two scenarios actually, but from a personal perspective, and look, I don't talk about stuff that I don't know or stuff that I haven't experienced, right? Which again is part of my brand. But I went to the Celebrating Women in Sports luncheon um, a couple months ago. Went to the luncheon, and if you know me, when I step out, when I go to brunch, when I go to anything, I'm always have a hat on. But when I step out, like dinner, brunches, luncheons, whatever, I have on a hat, like a fedora, right? That is associated with me. Like everybody knows Asia is the one. She gonna have on the hat. She gonna be rocking the hat. She gonna be clean. She gonna be looking nice, smelling good, all of that, right? So I get there, and I link up with a couple of people I know, some of my instructors and colleagues from school and just within the industry here in Orlando. And they were like, "I thought I saw you earlier, but then I looked and you weren't there." But I was like, "I know I saw that hat, right?" She was like, "Yeah, the hat is killing it." And we met with some prominent figures in sports, and took like did a photo opportunity. And the lady was like, "Oh, you are wearing that hat." Me, hats is synonymous with Asia. I'm always gonna have on a hat, a baseball cap. I'm always gonna have a fedora. I'm always gonna have something on my head. Not because I'm ashamed of my hair, not because I'm ashamed of my head, because I'm shaving my head. I have alopecia. I shaved my head. I went bald, did the whole thing, right? Not because of that, because I like wearing hats. And I started to wear them all the time, and it just became synonymous with me. So if you see me out 9 times out of 10, I'm going to have a hat on my head. I'm going to have a fedora if you see me in a professional setting, right? And it's not because, and now I feel like, because we can't get into those traps, we can get into those traps and those settings where we branded ourselves so well, so good. James Harden is, when it comes to brand, I think of James Harden all the time because he branded himself so well and so good. And he had the mohawk. His logo was him with the mohawk, and he became very synonymous with his hairstyle, right? Well, I thought about it. I was like, well, what's one thing that I'm always doing? I'm always wearing, and it's hats, right? I'm into hats, and it was kind of a thing with my granddad. My granddad used to wear hats all the time, and it just kind of came came to me naturally, right? Even when I had hair, I would wear hats, and it became a part of my brand. People know Asia. You're gonna see Asia when I'm out and about. You're gonna see me with a hat on. Period. You know it's me. You know, and you know if I'm not wearing a hat, then oh man, something's off. She not on brand today. You know what I'm saying? And you have to really take accountability for how you're being seen and how you're presenting yourself when you're out and about. Because again, people are going to, whatever you do, whatever you say, people are going to associate that with whatever it is you're affiliated with, whether it's your 9 to 5 job. Oh, you work for me, I work for the Amateur Athletic Union, right? Oh, you work for AAU. I seen you out drinking, getting sloppy drunk the other night. That's what the AAU is about. They're gonna associate it with that, right? Oh, you got Fresh Ambition LLC, Beyond Four Foundation. Oh, y'all be out drinking all the time. Y'all be out clubbing. Y'all be out smoking all the time. Yo, that's what the foundation is about. No, that ain't what the foundation is about, and it's because I brand myself accordingly. I brand myself, and I'm true to myself. Also, I'm being true to myself. I'm being authentic. I'm living in my purpose, right? And if you're not being true to yourself, you're not being authentic. You're not living in your purpose. But you have to understand that whatever your purpose is going to be associated with whatever you're affiliated at that time, right? And it's gonna live on with you forever. Like we just had two really horrific incidents, and I'm praying for the families who were involved. But the whole um, Travis Scott case at Astro World with what happened there, a very sad incident. But because that's his brand, right? Because that's what he has decided to associate himself with the raging, with the outrageous activities and with the outrageous performances that he does. Not saying nothing is wrong with that, but he chose to associate himself with that type of brand. He chose to build his brand on this rock star mentality, rock star raging type atmosphere. And it turned out, okay, well, now look what happened. Lives were lost. And now for the good or for the bad, lives were lost for the bad. But when it comes to branding, for the good or for the bad, now you're affiliated with Nike. What is people going to think about when they see Travis Scott Nike shoes? When they see Travis Scott shoes, they're going to think about Astroworld. They're going to think about the lives, rest in peace. They're going to think about the lives that were lost during that incident, right? Mass casualties, right? They're going to think about that when they see his shoes, when they see a release. Like Nike had to push back, or they didn't have to, but they had to. They pushed back the release of his last shoe due to what happened, out of respect for the families and the lives that were lost at Astroworld. They pushed back the release, but it's like, okay, you pushed back the release, but regardless of when you release this sneaker, and I think my boy Tony D hit on it on Twitter, regardless of when you release this sneaker, that brand, that is going to always be associated with what happened at that concert in Houston. That's why you have to make sure that your brand, right? Make sure that your brand is clean. Make sure that your brand is there and it's set up the correct way. You're making sure that you're authentic to yourself. You're being true to yourself. You're making sure that you are not, you're making sure that you're not putting other stakeholders and their brands at stake for affiliating themselves with you and your brand, right? That's one incident that kind of is swaying on the not so good side, right? Then we have another incident with young Dolph. Young Dolph, very, very prominent figure in his community in Memphis. He was doing so much for his family, so much for his community, so much for just the families and the lives that he touched. Not only through his music, but through the things that he was just doing in the community, giving back, giving money to people on stage, giving back in general, making sure that his community saw something different than what he was seeing when he was growing up, right? And rest in peace to young Dolph. It's just, you hate hearing it. You hate hearing it. You hate seeing death in any type of form, but you really hate when it's innocent people that are living their lives to the fullest. They're giving back to others. They're being positive role models in the community, and they get their lives taken away. But not one negative thing was said about this young man when he passed away because of his brand. Yeah, his music wasn't for everybody, right? I wasn't really a super heavy on Young Dolph. I listened here and there. His music wasn't for everybody, but what he was doing, he was giving back to everybody. He was making sure that people were set up for the long run. He was making sure that his community was going to be better. That better, his community was better when he left it than how it was when he came into it. So, and that's brand. Your brand is going to say so many things about you. Your brand, and I've always said this, your brand goes before you in every situation, in every circumstance. Before you enter a room, your brand is in there. In rooms that you'll never enter, your brand may be in there. Somebody's talking about your brand. Some people see your brand before they see you. They hear your brand before they hear you, right? Especially when it comes to music artists, music artists. They hear your brand before they hear you talk, before they hear you speak, before you do any interview, before you get on YouTube live, before you create any type of content on social media. If you put in just your music out there, that's your brand. People are going to hear about you before you step in a room. People are going to see you before you enter into a room, before you enter that building. So we have to make sure that our brands are set up in a way that is going to in a way that's going to solidify our authenticity, in a way that's going to represent us now, but also represent our legacy in the long term, because that's really what we're here about. We're here about legacy. We're here to leave a lasting legacy, and we're here to live in our purpose and provide value and service to others. So yeah, but it's 12:52. I gotta wrap this up because I got something to do at 1 o'clock. Like I said, tap in with me if you see this before in the next 8 minutes. Tap in with me on Instagram. We're gonna be doing a live Q&A session with exclusively with C-Town Sports Team. So make sure you tap in with us. We're gonna be live on Instagram in the next 7 minutes. So I will definitely see you all over there. And just remember, brand is queen. If you want to know more about me, make sure you check out in the description below. Leave a like if you agree with this content that I'm dropping. If you agree that brand is queen, and you agree that you should set yourself up to not only live in your presence and be your authentic self, but to make sure that others are associating you in a positive manner, especially when you're affiliated with other people and other brands, other businesses, right? So, like I said, leave a like, comment below on maybe some tips that you have to develop your brand and in a positive light. If you have any tips or you got any comments, suggestions, questions, make sure you just leave them down below. Check out the description. Click the links in the description if you want to learn a little bit of click the links in the description if you want to learn a little more about me, what I'm about, what I do, the services we provide at Fresh Ambition LLC. And if you want to donate to BeyondFour Foundation, where we are making sure that the next generation has the tools that they need to create their own systems so that they do not get caught up in the systems of others. All right. Again, everything is in the description box below. Leave a like, comment, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. All right. Peace.